we'll go back to the military method to open the strait.
3 U.S. warships in the strait faced an intense Iranian assault today.
We're not looking for a fight, but Iran also cannot be allowed to block innocent countries and their goods from an international waterway.
The captain of the guided missile destroyer picks up the red handset on the bridge wing and says 2 words into it: weapons free. In the time it takes that authorization to travel 40 feet of copper wire to the combat information center below, a 5-inch naval gun worth less than the paint on the ship it protects begins rotating toward a rusted cargo vessel, making 11 knots on a collision course with a $2.5 billion warship. The cargo ship is worth $1.8 million. Every shell the destroyer is about to put across its bow costs $2,000. The math is not in anyone's favor. The Mark 45 Mod 4 barks once. A 70-pound high-explosive round leaves the barrel at 2,600 feet per second. It crosses 800 yards of flat gray water in under a second and detonates 200 yards ahead of the cargo ship's bow, throwing a column of white spray 60 feet into the air. The cargo ship does not alter course. It does not reduce speed. Its bridge windows stay dark. Its radio stays silent. 6 nautical miles to the north, off the southern coast of Kesham Island, 4 IRGC fast attack craft sit dead in the water with their engines idling at 700 revolutions per minute. Their crews are watching. They have been watching for 40 minutes. The destroyer is USS Halsey, DDG-97, an Arleigh Burke Flight IIA guided missile destroyer, 9,200 tons, 30 knots, armed with 96 vertical launch cells, a 5-inch gun, 2 phalanx close-in weapon systems, and 2 Mark 38 Mod 2 chain guns. She has been on station in the southern traffic lane of the Strait of Hormuz for 9 days. The strait is 21 miles wide at this point. The inbound shipping lane is 2 miles across. The buffer zone between inbound and outbound lanes is 2 miles. The Iranian coast is 8 miles to the north. The Omani coast is 6 miles to the south. There is nowhere to go that is not someone's territorial water. 300 nautical miles to the west, at Naval Support Activity Bahrain, the Tactical Action Officer at 5th Fleet Headquarters receives the first flash message at 0713 local time. It reads, unidentified cargo vessel bearing 347 degrees, range 4,200 yards, closing at 11 knots. No AIS transponder. No response to bridge-to-bridge radio on channels 16 or 12. No response to flare. Vessel has been hailed 6 times in 4 minutes. The TAO picks up a phone. He does not get to finish his sentence before the second flash arrives. Weapons free authorized by commanding officer. Warning shot fired. Back in the strait, 2 seconds have passed since the first round detonated ahead of the cargo ship. The ship has not turned. Its heading is 187 degrees. The destroyer's heading is 092 degrees. If neither vessel alters course, they will meet in 6 minutes and 40 seconds at a point 1,100 yards south of Halsey's current position. The cargo vessel displaces roughly 4,800 tons. At 11 knots, that is 4,800 tons moving at 12.6 miles per hour. The kinetic energy of that mass at that speed is enough to crush a 30-foot section of hull plating like a beer can under a boot. The Mark 45 fires again. Same result. The round bursts 150 yards ahead of the vessel. Water rains across the cargo ship's forecastle. Nothing changes aboard. No lights. No movement on the bridge wing. No course correction. The vessel could be a ghost ship. It could be a bomb. The captain of Halsey does not have the luxury of finding out which. 6 nautical miles to the north, the lead IRGC boat commander, aboard a Tarik-class fast attack craft, 7 tons, 65 knots, armed with a 12.7mm machine gun and nothing else, keys his radio and sends a 3-second encrypted burst transmission toward the Iranian mainland. The message contains a timestamp and a GPS coordinate. Nothing else. He does not move his boat. He does not need to. This was never about closing distance. This was about creating distance between America and the rest of the world watching. The plan is elegant. It cost Iran nothing. They found a cargo ship, Panamanian flagged, Bangladeshi crewed, hauling scrap steel from Bandar Abbas, and they let it go. They did not seize it. They did not board it. They simply ensured that its crew did not reach the bridge by 0700. How they ensured this is a question that will occupy intelligence analysts for weeks. The crew of 11 was found locked in the engine compartment 3 hours later, unharmed, reporting that 4 armed men in black had boarded at 0530, disabled the radio, locked the helm on a fixed bearing of 187 degrees, set the engine to full ahead, and departed by rigid hull inflatable at 0545. The men spoke Farsi. What the crew of USS Halsey didn't know was that the cargo ship had been aimed like a bullet 90 minutes before the first radar contact appeared on their and /spy 1D screen, aimed by men who were already back on Iranian soil by the time the first warning shot was fired. The third shot from the Mark 45 is not a warning. It impacts the cargo ship's bow 12 feet above the waterline on the port side. The 70-pound high-explosive shell punches through 8 millimeters of hull steel and detonates inside the forward cargo hold, which contains 3,200 tons of scrap metal. The effect is like dropping a grenade into a recycling bin. Shrapnel sprays upward through the deck plating. A fire starts in the hold. The ship's heading does not change.
11 knots.
187 degrees. The helm is lashed. Nobody is steering. The captain makes his next call in 4 seconds. He does not hesitate because the rules of engagement in this theater no longer permit hesitation. As of 9 days ago, under the operational directive governing Operation Project Freedom, any vessel closing on a U.S. warship that fails to respond to 5 hails, 1 visual warning, and 1 warning shot may be engaged with lethal force at the commanding officer's discretion. Halsey has exceeded the threshold by 2 warnings and 1 additional shot. The captain is already past the line the lawyers drew. He is now shooting at a ship because the alternative is allowing 4,800 tons of uncontrolled mass to strike his vessel amidships at a closing speed that gives his crew less than 5 minutes to react. The gun shifts from the bow to the waterline. Round 4 hits 2 feet above the waterline amidships. Round 5 hits 3 feet below the bridge. Round 6 enters the engine compartment at a shallow angle and detonates against the main diesel block. The ship's single engine, a 6,000 horsepower Wärtsilä diesel worth more than everything else on the vessel combined, disintegrates. The propeller shaft stops turning.
The ship's speed begins to drop. 11 knots. 9 knots.
7. The bow wave collapses. The vessel begins to drift. The Mark 45 has fired 6 rounds in 22 seconds. Cost $12,000. The cost of the scrap metal now on fire in the cargo hold, approximately $340,000. A $2.5 billion warship firing $2,000 shells at a ship worth less than what it costs to repaint the destroyer's hull. 300 nautical miles to the west, the Tiao in Bahrain is now on a secure line with the commander of Naval Forces Central Command. The conversation lasts 90 seconds. The relevant sentence is, "Sir, the vessel is dead in the water. No casualties observed. AIS was disabled. Crew appears to have been removed or secured below decks. This looks like a provocation, not an attack." The admiral's response is a single question: where are the fast boats? 6 nautical miles to the north, the 4 IRGC fast attack craft have already begun moving, not toward Halsey, but away from her, northeast toward Keshem at 45 knots. They will be inside Iranian territorial waters in 3 minutes. They were never going to attack. They were there to document. 2 of the boats carry mast-mounted cameras with telephoto lenses capable of recording at 4K resolution from 6 nautical miles. The footage of an American destroyer firing on an unarmed cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz will be on Iranian state television within the hour. It will be on every news network on Earth within 3 hours. The IRGC's plan cost them nothing. They hadn't even been aboard. At 0720 local time, 7 minutes after the first warning shot, the cargo vessel settles to a stop 900 yards northwest of Halsey's position, listing 4 degrees to port, smoke rising from the forward hold. The fire is not spreading. The ship is not sinking. There are no bodies on deck. The captain orders a boarding team. 11 sailors in 2 rigid hull inflatables cross the 900 yards in 2 minutes. They find the bridge empty. The wheel lashed with nylon rope to a fixed heading. The radio removed, not disabled, physically unbolted from its mount. The AIS transponder taken. The crew of 11 Bangladeshi nationals is found in the engine compartment, dehydrated, frightened, and unable to explain what happened in any language the boarding team speaks. In the Combat Information Center below decks, the electronic warfare officer reviews the data from the ship's and /SLQ-32 electronic warfare suite. It detected the encrypted burst transmission from the IRGC boat at 0711. It flagged it automatically. The flag was reviewed by a watchstander who noted it in the log but did not relay it to the bridge because it came from 6 miles away and did not correspond to an inbound threat.
He was correct. It was not a threat. It was a camera.
The Navy spent more on warning shots than the cargo ship spent on fuel for the entire voyage. Within 4 hours, the Iranian Foreign Ministry releases a statement condemning the unprovoked American attack on a civilian merchant vessel carrying humanitarian cargo through international waters. The statement does not mention the locked crew. It does not mention the disabled radio. It does not mention the 4 armed men who boarded at 0530. It does not mention the Tarek-class boats or their cameras. It mentions only the 5-inch shells. Within 8 hours, the footage appears. It is remarkably well shot.
High definition. Stabilized.
The angle is low, shot from water level at a distance that makes the destroyer's gun flashes look enormous against the morning haze. The cargo ship looks small and helpless. The audio captures each impact with a delay that makes the sound arrive a full 6 seconds after the flash, a reminder of the distance and of how far away Iran was when it happened. The footage does not show the warnings. It does not show the flares. It starts at the first impact round. It is 47 seconds long and it will be viewed 90 million times in 72 hours. The captain of USS Halsey did everything right. He followed procedure. He exceeded the warning requirements. He waited until the mathematical certainty of collision was inside 5 minutes. He aimed for the engine to stop the ship, not to sink it. He achieved mission success. No American casualties, no collision, vessel stopped, crew recovered alive. His career is functionally over. 7 minutes from first warning to final shot. The insurance claim would take 14 months. The problem is not what happened. The problem is what it looked like. And in 2026, in a strait where 25% of the world's seaborne oil moved, or used to move before Iran shut it down, what it looks like is the only thing that moves markets, moves votes, and moves carriers from one ocean to another. The Navy knows this. Iran knows this better. A 7-ton fast attack craft with a mast-mounted camera accomplished what a $2 million anti-ship missile could not. It made a $2.5 billion destroyer the villain in 47 seconds of footage that cost less to produce than a single round from the gun it filmed. The camera boat was worth $200,000. The footage it captured moved oil futures $4 per barrel in a single trading session, a swing representing approximately $400 million in daily global transaction value. That is a return on investment that would make a hedge fund weep. The asymmetry is the weapon.
It always was.
At 0730, 10 minutes after the vessel was stopped, Halsey's captain files his after-action report. It is 3 pages. It is accurate. It describes a textbook response to an imminent threat. It will be read by 40 people with security clearances and ignored by 90 million people without them. The 40 people will determine that the captain acted within rules of engagement. The 90 million will determine something else entirely. The 11 Bangladeshi crew members are transferred to Halsey's mess deck, given water and food, and interviewed through a translator reached by satellite phone.
Their account is consistent. Armed men.
0530 Farsi.
Black clothing. No insignia. No explanation.
They locked the bridge, lashed the helm, and disappeared. The crew heard gunfire 90 minutes later and thought they were going to die. They did not know it was an American destroyer. They did not know it was their own ship being hit. They only knew the explosion stopped after 22 seconds, and 20 minutes later, American sailors opened the hatch and told them in English that they were safe.
They were safe.
That is the part that does not make it into the footage. At 0900, the Iranian state media broadcast a second segment. This one includes a split screen. On the left, the gun camera footage from the fast attack boat. On the right, a map showing the strait with the cargo ship's track highlighted in red and labeled Civilian Humanitarian Vessel. The map does not show the 4 Terek-class boats. It does not show the men who boarded at 0530. It shows one thing, America shooting. 5th Fleet responds at 1100 with a written statement and helmet camera footage from the boarding team showing the lashed helm, the missing radio, and the crew locked below. It is factual, detailed, and 4 minutes long. It will be watched by 2 million people. The ratio is 45-1 in Iran's favor. The information war was lost before the first shell casing hit the deck. This is the new geometry of the Strait of Hormuz. The narrowest point is 21 miles wide. The shipping lanes are 2 miles across. The distance between a legal response and a propaganda disaster is 0. Every action an American warship takes in that water will be filmed from Iranian soil or Iranian boats. Every shot fired will be edited. Every vessel stopped will be called civilian. The strait is not a waterway. It is a television studio that happens to have water in it. The captain of Halsey knew this when he picked up the handset. He did the math, not the missile math, not the kill chain math, but the other math. The math that says, if I do not shoot and that ship hits us, I lose 30 sailors and a $2.5 billion warship. If I do shoot and it turns out to be harmless, I lose my career and my country loses the news cycle. He chose $12,000 in ammunition and his career over the alternative. That is a $2.5 billion ship being defended by a man willing to trade his entire future for 22 seconds of gunfire. The Navy does not put that in the cost column, but it probably should. 48 hours later, the salvage tug arrives from Fujairah, 70 nautical miles to the south. The cargo ship is towed to port. The scrap metal is unloaded. The ship is repaired for $380,000 and returned to service under a new name and a different flag. The 11 Bangladeshi crew members are repatriated. None of them give interviews. The footage is still circulating. It will circulate for years. The captain of USS Halsey receives a Navy Commendation Medal in a private ceremony 6 weeks later. He is reassigned to a desk at Naval Surface Force Pacific in San Diego. He never commands a ship again. His action report becomes a case study at the Surface Warfare Officers School in Newport, filed under the heading, Correct Response, Adverse Outcome. The IRGC never claims the operation. They do not need to. The footage speaks for itself, in Farsi, Arabic, Mandarin, and every other language spoken by countries looking for a reason to question American presence in the Gulf. 47 seconds, 0 Iranian casualties, 0 Iranian fingerprints, 1 American career, $400 million in market movement, and a precedent that will make every future American captain in that strait hesitate for 1 second longer than they should. That extra second is the weapon. The footage was just the delivery system. If you enjoyed this video, check out our other video on the time the USS Vincennes shot down an Iranian passenger jet in 1988, and how that incident still shapes every engagement decision in this strait today. Bye for now.